Hi, I'm Mojtaba. In this episode we're gonna finish off Dirty Dancing. I tried not to use too many different tools in this part, partly to keep things from getting confusing, and partly to make you curious enough to go and try out other methods on your own. A lot of viewers have messaged me saying they were able to do the exact same things way faster using tools like Sojin, EmuDBG, or Intel Pin, so I highly recommend not limiting yourself to just the methods shown in this tutorial. In the previous episode, we found a function that handles decrypting the de novo ticket. Now, we want to generate two traces from that point, one to the OEP and one to the non-happy path. The problem is generating these traces can take hours. Of course, with tools like Sojin or EmuDBG, you can get results much more quickly. As you can see here, it shows how many times the program has hit this breakpoint. You can check the conditional breakpoint documentation. You can tell x64debg to only break when a specific hit count is reached. For example, here we set it to 5. And as you can see, after 5 hits, it stopped. You might ask, what's the point of that? Well, you can use this trick to skip through most of the loops inside the code. For instance, I picked spots in the code that I think might be loops. As you can see, this address gets repeated a ton of times. We can set a condition that will never actually trigger, just to figure out how many times the loop runs, and then ask the debugger to skip it for us. And look, the loop is now skipped. Sometimes you can even understand the logic of the code just by taking a quick glance at the trace. So, I'm going to skip a few more loops in the trace using the same method until we get close to the OEP. All we need to do now is generate another one from the same point, but for the non-happy path. Just change the username again. Of course, the path to the end of the non-happy path might be much longer. So we can just generate a trace that's the same length as the happy path trace and compare them. We don't necessarily need to reach the very end of the non-happy path. So here, I'm comparing these two traces in our simple tool. And look, we quickly found the first difference between the two traces. It seems like this ret leads to two different paths. Actually, this is a conditional jump that's written like this after obfuscation. You can even easily figure out how it's making the decision. On the non-happy path, RCX is equal to 0 here. As you can see, if we change RCX from 0 to 1, we end up at the OEP. But if you try to run it, the game will crash, because there are additional checks after the OEP that we can cover in future episodes. Alright, thanks for watching this episode. This method is definitely not the best one out there. There are plenty of tools out there for you to learn on your own if you're interested. In the next episode, we can dive into the logic behind choosing between the happy path and the non-happy path.